and welcome to the very first episode of Pretty and Problematic. I'm your host, Meia, and before we get into today's conversation, I'm just going to talk a little bit more about the show and introduce myself. So, like I just said, my name is Meia. I'm currently 20 years old, and I'm a college student living in Houston, Texas. In this show, I am not here to give lectures, okay? I'm here to talk about the real shit that we go through as young adults in our late teens and early 20s, okay? Whether that be the dramatic relationships or whether that also be finding ourselves, right? Outside of what society and our parents expect out of us, okay? Now, I'm not claiming to know everything and I'm definitely not perfect, but what I will speak on is things that I've learned, what I'm learning, and some things that I'm still trying to unlearn as well, right? But in order to help us with today's conversation, I brought on two of my closest friends. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yo, what's good? My name is Honor. Y'all can follow my Instagram at Honor Adewumi.
Okay.
Hi guys, my name is Esther. Y'all can follow me at Esther Soul on Instagram, and y'all can follow my photography page, Misola's Lens, on Instagram as well.
All right, period. So, guys, today what we're going to talk about is being problematic, right? And really what that means in today's time. But if I'm being so honest with you guys, if you're not even a little problematic, are you even like a real person? Like no shade. Are you even a real person if you're not just a little bit problematic?
You have to have at least like one.
You gotta be a little bit
Right?
messy, a little bit.
Okay, so Honor, I want to hear your opinion on this first. What do you think being problematic is?
So boom. Basically, being problematic, in my opinion, is you're always looking for issues. You're always looking for wahala. It's just shege from wahala to wahala. Like it's just that.
What did Rema say? Give
Give
them
them back to
back.
back. That's
something
something
like
like Come
Yeah,
on.
I feel like being problematic is really just like being somebody who comes from a place of like negative energy, just always having like bad intentions for
Yeah.
people, like stating the obvious that didn't need to be stated.
Mhm.
Like,
Okay, well, can I be honest with you guys for a second? In my opinion, I feel like the word problematic has really lost its weight
What's that?
over time. You know what I mean? Like nowadays, you disagree with someone, you're problematic. You take space from a situation, you're problematic. You're with a group of girls and you guys just don't really mesh well, but it's no beef. You're still problematic. You know what I mean? And in my opinion, I feel like what I've gone through, I think the most authentic people are the ones that are deemed as problematic just because they ruffle the most feathers.
I agree.
yeah.
So what do you think about that?
I feel like Mia said, the most authentic people ruffle the most feathers. When you're able to like stand on your own, when what people do doesn't faze you, when you make your movements, when your movements are based by yourself,
Yeah.
when you're raw, you're the most authentic version of yourself. You're gonna ruffle feathers, of course, because people are gonna be intimidated.
Yeah.
People are gonna see you as competition because you're a trailblazer. But to be honest, keep on trailing.
Yeah.
Keep on blazing that trail.
Yeah, I feel like when you're like unapologetically yourself, 100% like authentically the true you, you're going to naturally like attract the people who are supposed to be around you.
Yeah.
And, like it's going to like in turn repel the people who are not supposed to be around you. So the people who are not supposed to be in your energy are going to view you as somebody who's problematic because your energies are going to clash.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Period. So if we're being honest though, we've all been problematic at some point, right? So it could have been a joke that just went too far, or you made a comment and it just didn't really stick. But what I really want to focus on in today's episode is whenever you're being problematic, but you're actually not the problem. It's other people projecting onto you. And Esther, I feel like you have a really good experience with that.
Right. So when I first started like my freshman year of college, I was in this like really big friend group and we all had like a bunch of friends. And I had this one friend that I was like specifically like super close to. And she used to always like sleep in my dorm. We used to always have like hangovers.
So y'all guys were tight.
Not hangovers, sleepovers.
Yeah.
And stuff like
Y'all
that.
guys were close.
We were overly close.
Yeah, okay.
Super close. So it was this one time where I just had like this period where I just really wanted to be by myself. And like coming out of that, like I had another friend group, which was Honor in them, and they lived in a different building, which was CV2.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go see my friends in CV2, and I did that. And my friend let me know that she wanted to see me, and I told her like, okay, I'm seeing my other friends right now, and like
you just don't have to wait on
yeah,
that.
Like, no shade, wait. Like,
Bro, she made it seem like she had no issue at all.
So she just said, okay, cool, and left it at that.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
said, okay, cool. But like I could feel the energy switch.
Oh, just like that.
Literally just like that. She
Okay.
started treating me weirdly,
Mhm.
everything. So I came to her because I hate secret animosity.
No, definitely.
Hate it. So I came to her. I was like, do you have an issue with me? Is there a problem? Anything like that? Like, let me know, because I don't want it to be like, yeah.
Yeah, like it's a static. It's
Like it needs to be addressed. Like say it out loud.
And she steady kept saying no. But like I was hearing from everybody else that she had a problem with me.
But what she?
when that happens.
So me and my friend group, we all decided to have like this like meeting or whatever, and we came to like a consensus, and we like basically boiled it down to like the issue being the fact that I wanted to be in CV2 instead of being with them. And I was like, bruh.
Only 12, like
come on, bro.
like, you can hang out with multiple
Yeah.
people.
Like hello.
Yeah.
And I feel like that just comes from them being jealous of you, because whenever you come into a new space, right? Everyone's nervous. Everyone's trying to find their people, make their new friends. Some people are just more outgoing than others, right? Like someone that's super outgoing, super chatty, they're gonna have an easier time making friends than someone who's an introvert and a homebody.
Exactly.
And
I feel like that also goes into like the communication part as well.
oh yeah, definitely.
Because had she communicated with you when she first had that issue, it would have never blown up to where y'all had to have a conversation with friends.
Yeah.
I think that's such a big issue because so many people have an issue with you,
Yeah.
like in their brains, but they'll never bring it to you.
Just beat
like,
around the bush.
Person. They'll always be beating around the bush.
Yeah.
They'll go talk to everybody about the issue,
Yeah.
but you.
That
That's
makes-
crazy.
That makes me think of this quote that I saw that was like, people can only meet you at the depth at which they've met themselves.
Oh, where'd you hear that at?
TikTok.
That's a
Like,
good quote though. That's a good
yeah.
quote.
But it was really like more so like if people are only at a specific level of maturity, they're only going to be able to approach you at that level.
They can only meet you at
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
So when I told her like, do you have an issue with me? She wasn't comfortable being able to actually like
Speak her mind.
right. So me being the person that I am, I'm able to step out of myself and recognize that's a character flaw on her part. You know, I'm not the problematic person. If she communicates,
You're being a real bitch.
Exactly.
And that's that.
And I feel like a lot of people were like with that childish mindset, right? They'll tell other people things, they'll beat around the bush because they want you to be the first one to address it, right?
Exactly.
So that's like,
But it's crazy because we're grown, right?
And like communication should be like, it should come easy to us, or at least you should, like you should be able to pull yourself like out your bootstraps and be able just to be like, hey, whenever you do this, I feel like this. But coming to college, I realized that not that many people like are at that level of maturity.
Right.
A lot of people were raised a lot differently than we were raised.
Yes.
A lot differently. And that was shit.
Yeah. And
I will say about college too, is like people would be doing stuff that's like 10 times worse than what you're doing.
oh my God.
Like what you're doing.
Huh?
At the end of the day, like you really just have to be very secure with yourself.
Yeah.
And know that like you're not complacent in like the bad things that you're doing. You're still actively working towards bettering yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, you need to know who you are and what you bring to the table. Like you have to be so sure of yourself, so whenever someone tells you something, you don't get shaken off your path.
Like,
You know
that
what I'm
doesn't-
saying?
That got nothing to do with me because I know who I am.
Yeah. And your story reminds me a lot of what I went through too. It was also the first semester of the school year, right? And well, with me though, it was with my roommates. So at our college, right, you have a roommate and another set of roommates, right? And it's like a suite style dorm. All three of them didn't fuck with me, and I was so hurt and confused. I was like, what is the problem? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, we would all go out together at first. It was super kumbaya, but I just started noticing, like, it's the little things,
It really is the little things.
Like, you're in a group. They're not talking to you as much. You say something. No one says anything back in the group chat. You guys are all out. And, whenever you're girls, right, and you want to go to the bathroom, like, you have someone at least come with you, right? When I needed to go to the bathroom, it was just me going by myself. I'm like, okay, cool. But whenever one of them had to go to the bathroom, all of a sudden, everyone has to pee. Oh, we'll go with you. We'll go with you. And, my last straw is whenever we went to this homecoming parade, right? Or it was like this little party. And there was like some performers going on. I sat through with them. All three of the performers they wanted to listen to. And my performer was coming in at the end. As soon as I got to my performer, oh, we're tired. We're just going to go sit down and we'll catch up with you later.
Like,
And I was just so...
like, hello.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So after that, I was just really hurt by that, right? So after that happened, I was just kind of crying to myself. And, I was just like, God, like, why every time I try to be cool with some people, it just falls flat? Like, am I the problem? Because, at this point, it's kind of given like common denominator. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But honestly, I really think it's just because people are jealous of you, Like, people find comfort in things that they can relate to. And when you don't follow the crowd, you don't fit that mold or anything like that. Yeah, you become a problem. They become intimidated. They don't know how to read you and they don't know how to move, What do you think?
I think that I agree with you. Once you become yourself, once you're like I said, once you're able to stand on your own, of course, people are going to see you as an issue because they can't throw you off of your course. They can't be like, they can't see you and they're like, out. They can't be better than you. So they're going to try to knock you off of where you're going.
I feel like,
What do you think about that?
I really feel like I definitely agree, and we can definitely see that like throughout like social media and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, for example, somebody like Jackie Aina. Everybody loved Jackie Aina, but when she started like flourishing, making money, and stopped being like relatable, and
When she got that ring, girl.
exactly,
Everybody got mad.
and it's like everybody loves it when they're at the same level as you, or when they relate to you. But once they see you evolving and becoming the person that you're meant to be,
Doing better than them.
exactly, doing better than them,
Because of the issue.
that's when like all this secret animosity starts to come, because it's like they can't be like, oh, I hate you because you're doing better than me, blah 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 blah.
Okay, so they gotta hate you for something else.
Yeah.
Which is why y'all need to watch who y'all surround yourselves with.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
a lot of people will be against you. A lot of people will be against you.
And honestly, I feel like that just ties back to self-worth, if that makes sense. The people that are labeling you as problematic when you're not the problem, they see a flaw within themselves, right? Because they're idolizing you. They see you have all this going on. You're sure of yourself. You're confident. This, that, and the third. And you know what I mean?
So
it's making them insecure, And I feel like you have an experience with that.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I've definitely experienced a lot of things where it's like I've had to somewhat cut people off because I've like recognized the fact that they were in like secret competition with me.
Yeah.
And it's like I feel like being in competition with people is very stupid, because ultimately like comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
Like if I'm comparing you to me, like
What am I doing?
Exactly.
And it's a really difficult topic to address too, because then it's like, if you're someone that's noticing okay, actually, we're going to hold that thought for a second because we're about to go on commercial break. But when we come back, we're going to talk more about secret animosity, and then we're going to move more into what being problematic is on Afrovibes TV. All right, guys, and welcome back to the Pretty and Problematic podcast. We were just talking about being problematic and being labeled as problematic. So, Esther, please tell us a little bit more about how secret animosity plays into people labeling you as problematic.
A lot of times, like when people have secret animosity towards you,
Yeah.
they're not talking to you specifically. Like they're telling other people about the problem. So you don't even really have like an opportunity to really defend yourself.
Yes, and then it becomes like they're dogpiling on you.
Exactly.
And it's like all these people are talking about you.
Exactly.
You have no way to defend yourself. So it's just like you're constantly being talked about. And you're constantly talked about in these rooms that you have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So all of these people are making up a certain assumption about you that you can't defend. So it's like, what's the point?
And it's just a he say, she say.
Exactly.
It goes to the grapevine. And then you're just confused as to where the problem even started.
And you have problems with people you don't even know.
Yeah.
This like really plays back into like why, especially like coming into adulthood, you really need to be sure of yourself. Because it's like 9 times out of 10, people are going to perceive you differently to how you perceive yourself.
Yeah.
People are going to say things that you probably never even thought about yourself.
Don't even align with who you are as a person.
Exactly.
You're just going to be like, huh?
Right.
Because how many times have you guys been in a situation, right, where you just thought to yourself, if they know me, they wouldn't be talking like this, or they wouldn't believe this, right?
They wouldn't even think for a second that that's something I would do.
But let me be real with you guys for a second. How is someone supposed to believe your image of yourself if you're not even confident of that? And that's where it comes into the whole being secure in yourself, you know? And whenever we put a secret animosity into the conversation, how do you even begin to address that, you know? Because it's like, if you're the victim of the secret animosity, are you just going to be like, oh, hey, I noticed that you're kind of jealous of me because I have this, this, and this. What's the problem, you know? And then if you do realize that you're jealous of someone, how do you bring that up without sounding super weird, you know? What do you think?
Because I guarantee most like 9 times out of 10, they're not just gonna agree with you if you bring it up. They're definitely, it's gonna be a deflection situation. They're gonna figure out a way to kind of push it back on you, and it's not gonna be a productive situation.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times perspective is very important. Like, that's something that we've been talking about a lot. So being able to step out of yourself and see somebody else's perspective is very important a lot of times. I'm not saying like let's continue to like empathize or sympathize with people who don't deserve that. Like, to a certain extent, you have to be grounded in yourself and be like, okay, this is not okay. But you need to realize a lot of people are not having the same upbringing as you.
Yeah.
So when people are having the secret animosity and stuff like that, don't take it as, oh my gosh, this is a character flaw with me.
Don't take it personal. Never
And
take it personal.
some people are like navigating like relationships and like being adulthood, and also the fact that we're all in school
And this
at the
new
same
freedom
time, this
too.
new freedom that we all have. So we do have to understand that it does take people a while to get accustomed to everything.
Yeah. One thing I'll say, like, initially, I used to be the most entitled person, the most selfish person. And like, through experience and through gaining perspective, I've been able to step out of myself and start to realize, okay, maybe in certain regards, I am problematic too.
Yeah.
You know? And so once you start doing that deep introspection and looking within yourself,
Taking accountability
Exactly.
for what the part you had to play.
yeah, exactly.
Now, I kind of want to bring this up too. Honor, I want to hear your opinion about this first. So, when is it like, how can you tell the difference for when you're being too much and you are the problem, or you're just too real for the people that you're surrounding yourself with at this moment?
I feel like you can feel the difference of when you're too much and versus when you're too real in a situation, based off just the vibes of the people alone. Like, when me personally, I would consider myself an empath. I can also just sense energy. So me, when I walk into a room, if I sense the vibes of the energy, the people are off, and I'm constantly putting myself in this situation where I'm like, am I too real for these people, or am I just too much? You're gonna like, it's gonna get to a point where you're gonna feel like, am I like too real, per se?
Like, does my personality not mesh well with the group I'm with? And if that's the case, that's okay. You know, it's no beef. We're still cool. I want you to eat, just not at my table. That's my
Like,
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Esther?
I feel like for me, like, a very big thing is like being intentional with the words that I speak, and then also listening very closely to the words that other people speak.
Yeah.
Because every single thing is energetic. Like, every
It's an
single
exchange every time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, even like, you know, to bring up like my faith, exactly, because that's one thing that like dictates like how I like navigate.
Yeah.
Basically, the Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth professes. So it's like you can literally see where somebody's energy lies based on the words that they're speaking. So it's like, with those little jokes that go too far, those you can really, really tell when it's like,
it tells a lot more than you think about a person.
Exactly.
So, Esther, I really want to hear your perspective on this. So, whenever you're in these type of situations, right, dealing with allegations of being problematic, people not liking you for no reason, how can you protect your peace while not escalating the situation further?
Right.
How would you go about something like that?
One thing that I've like decided to like, or that I'm trying to like start to like embody now, is understanding that I am an extension of Christ as well, you know, to bring that up. And so like, one thing that I always want to be able to do is, like I said, be able to step out of myself and see somebody else's perspective.
Yeah.
But then also realize that I'm not just representing myself. There's a lot of people that I'm representing.
Yeah, you represent your friends, your
Exactly.
family.
Exactly.
So despite how I'm feeling towards this person right now, despite the amount of anger that I might be feeling, I'm going to step out of this emotion and handle it the way in which my Lord Jesus Christ will handle it.
Exactly.
And that's basically it.
What do you think about this, Honor?
I agree with everything she said.
Mm-hmm.
In order to be a real person, you have to step out of yourself. You have to step out of yourself to those situations and think about the bigger picture. Think about the way you were raised and act accordingly.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like too, in certain situations, you just have to limit how much of yourself you're going to pour into this person, right? Yeah, because if we circle back to being too much versus too real, right? Like if you know you're gonna be a lot for this person, you're gonna be too real for this person, it's never a wrong thing just to dial it back. You can still be a kind person, you can still be kind-hearted, but you can eat, just not at my table.
That also goes with the point of protecting your peace.
Yeah.
Never put yourself into a situation where you feel like you're giving all of your energy and you're not getting anything back.
Yeah.
Because that's where you get to the point of where you're just feeling drained and you're not being reciprocated.
Right.
Yeah.
Another thing I would say is like not everybody deserves your energy as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like not everybody even deserves to be in your energy. So sometimes it's like you genuinely just are too
You
much
gotta
for
take a
that
step back.
person.
Yeah.
And you just don't have to give them that energy or the time of day.
And as young adults, like, we're becoming mature, we're growing into ourselves, we're learning how to handle freedom, we're paying bills, maybe we're getting our own place soon. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a really important skill that not a lot of like parents teach their kids, that how to navigate certain social situations. So with that being said, though, I feel like you should be proud to be the problem. That's kind of how I see it, and you just need to accept that what you want might not be what's best for you. Sorry, I'm stuttering. What do you think about that?
I definitely agree. But I feel like I would have I would see it from a different perspective to an extent. So it's like I wouldn't necessarily say be proud of being the problem, but be proud of the fact that you are authentically yourself and you represented yourself the way that you could.
That's a perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
What about you, Honor?
I agree with everything y'all both said, and I agree. I think that you should be 100% proud in being the problem because y'all see me as the problem, but in reality, I just see that as, like Esther said, me being authentically myself, me choosing to put myself in spaces that accept me, spaces that approve me for who I am, spaces that love me, spaces that are not hesitant to prove that out loud, spaces that are hesitant to, express that they love you. So, yeah.
Yeah. So circling back, you might want to be friends with this group of people so bad. You might want to be popular, but as you grow older, you need to remember, like at the end of the day, you just might be too much for those people. And would you rather have to mask your true personality just to hang out with people and not be fulfilled? Or, you're kind of out the way, you're in your own lane, but you're with people that are really pouring into you and you're pouring into each other. What would you rather do?
I know what I would do. I know what I would do.
No shade.
No shade. We know what we would do.
Yeah.
What would y'all do?
But for sure, I would definitely like to be around my soul tribe. 100%. I would like to be around people who are like-minded or even different. Just as long as
constantly pushing you, you're growing.
Constantly, like you're always being reciprocated. It's not just a give and a take. It's a give and a give and a give and it's period. Like.
Right.
Yeah, because like what you want just might not be what's best for you. Like you feel like you want to be popular, you want to be in the spotlight, but what's for you is people that can love and support you, and that's how you level up as a person. You know what I'm saying? So circling back, right? How do you feel that goes into protecting your peace and dealing with those false accusations?
Well, I feel like it definitely plays into like protecting my peace, like being around my soul tribe and stuff like that. They're adding to me, they're not taking away from me. They're just adding. And it's like I'm not having to like put on a mask or anything, a facade. So I'm naturally myself. I'm authentically myself. I'm comfortable.
You're not living for other people's comfort. This is your life, you guys. You need to be comfortable in what you're doing. Everything's for you. Because let's say you're living to fit into this group, you're living for somebody else, right? Like whether it be your parents' approval, your friends' approval, at the end of the day, your cup's going to be empty.
When you get to that point in life when you're doing everything for everybody else,
Yeah.
you're not going to be happy.
Mhm.
10 years down the line, you're going to be thinking about when you were first choosing, you're like,
Mhm.
I should have really did something that I really wanted to do, not for the approval of others.
Okay, yeah. So we're running out of time here today, guys, but closing remarks. If you're not a little problematic, are you even real? Esther, what do you think?
I feel like if you're not a little problematic, you're definitely not real, because that means you're conforming to conventional society and you're pleasing everybody. And if you're truly yourself, you're not going to please everybody. So,
What about you, Mama?
And I feel like if you're authentically yourself, then yeah, you're definitely going to ruffle some feathers. You're definitely going to have people looking at you some way because they're going to see you as a trailblazer. They're going to see you as a leader.
Yeah.
And people don't like that. People like followers.
Mhm.
So yeah.
And I feel like us too, collectively as Black people, we're so worried about, looking a certain way. If I embrace my culture, is that going to be unprofessional? You know what I mean? And if that's problematic, so be it. You know what I mean? I'm living myself. I'm growing. I'm helping. I'm pouring into people around me.
right.
And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. But that's all the time we have for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to the first episode of Pretty and Problematic. And we're going to see you next time. Mwah!